Hey everybody, Max Kevin here. It's the Financial Meltdown Crisis Podcast. Oh god, the world's going to shit. All the banks are failing. Oh god, nobody's got the. Where's my money? I put my money under the mattress. It's on fire. My house is on fire. Where's my insurance? God damn it. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, I just want to make this podcast. A couple little cutie updates from yesterday. A couple things I forgot about that I wanted to say, maybe some new, I'll talk about some new things, some new feelings, some new emotions, and some old things, some old feelings, some old emotions, old flings coming back into my life. I thought a relationship was over, but now you're back, you just came back into my life, I was just sitting in a cafe, and you happened to walk by, and you saw me sitting in the cafe, you're like, oh my god, it's you! Oh my god, don't you remember me? Remember me from 20 years ago? I'm back in your life now. Don't you remember? Let's be friends again. Even though I'm much fatter than I used to be. Let's be friends again. So anyway, I don't know if you saw President Biden's little speech there, talking about how, this is what capitalism is. They don't get a bailout. They get to fail. They get to fail. Yeah, except they're not failing. They are getting bailed out. So I don't know what exactly you were talking about there. I mean, he just kind of said the exact opposite of what's happening. And yeah, I see a lot of people online, that are hardcore Democrats, communists, socialists, don't have any idea about history, These people are like, oh yeah, tell him, Biden, that is how capitalism works. No bailouts for the banks. It's like, yeah, well, they are getting a bailout. And, he says, like, this is not going to cost the taxpayer anything. It's who do you think's going to pay for it? See, what they're doing is, these people that have these bonds, say you buy this bond, it's worth $100, but now it's only worth $30. You're like, oh, God, I lost 70% of my bond. It's only worth $30 now. I bought it for $100. It's only worth $30. Well, the Federal Reserve's like, oh, no problem. We'll give you a loan, and you can use that bond as collateral. And we'll give you the full face value, the $100 face value of that bond as collateral for your loan. So even though you only have $30, you have $100 again magically. Oh, so who's going to take the loss on that? Who's going to take that $70 loss? Oh, well, the Federal Reserve is going to take that loss. And then who pays for the losses that the Federal Reserve does? Oh, the Treasury. The Treasury Department of the United States pays for the losses that the Federal Reserve takes. And who pays for the Treasury? Oh, that's right, taxpayers. So it is a direct taxpayer-funded bailout of these banks. And then the fucking president goes on the news and just lies about what exactly is happening. And everyone who's too fucking dumb to understand basic economics is like, oh yeah, you tell them about it. You tell them, we're not bailing out this taxpayers aren't going to, this is going to be no inflation. This money just came from nowhere. It's magic money. It's magic money, And of course, I don't want to say this is like a Democrat or Republican thing. If Trump was still president, he would probably say the exact same thing because both parties are owned by the central banking mafia. All right. Anyway, the CPI numbers come out today. They come out in exactly 9.5 hours from the time I'm making this podcast here. And by the time you listen to this podcast, the numbers will probably be out because I figure you guys aren't. I'm hoping you're just like sitting next to your computer or your listening device, just like constantly hitting refresh, even though I only make podcasts like maybe once or twice a week. I hope you're just sitting next to your podcast app, just constantly hitting refresh. Be like, where's my next Little Cutie podcast? I mean, he just posted one 30 minutes ago, but I've hit refresh 5 times already. Why isn't there another Little Cutie podcast? Yeah, so anyway, today's the big day. Today is the big day. And the reason why is because the CPI numbers are coming out, right? And every time if the CPI numbers are higher than expected, this makes people think that the Federal Reserve is going to increase rates even more. So if the inflation numbers come in higher, what happens is the dollar strengthens, stocks go down, gold goes down, right? And if the CPI numbers are lower than expected, this makes people think that they will cut rates sooner, so the dollar goes down and stocks and gold go up, right? So basically, if the CPI numbers are bad, everything takes a giant diarrhea dump. If the CPI numbers are good, everything goes up, right? But this time, Right. Like, because what's contrary to like normal understanding is that if you think the CPI numbers, if the inflation is high, you'd think people would buy gold, but they're not, right? They buy dollars instead, right? So if people have lost faith in the dollar and the inflation is higher than expected and we see gold go up today, that means it's the beginning. It's the beginning of the end. The traders, the majority of traders has switched their understanding that from now on that high inflation numbers are going to mean an increase in the price of gold rather than a decrease. So this is a very important day. Yesterday that exact thing happened, right? Gold and silver were up, precious metals were up, stocks were down, dollar was down, right? And so today's the day, man. Today's the day. We're gonna. The next 10 years of economic movements are basically going to depend on the CPI numbers today and the movement in the gold price, right? So if the CPI numbers are higher than expected and gold goes up despite those high numbers, it's the beginning. You better buy your goddamn gold and silver, bro, because there's just been a fundamental shift that's taken 15 years for these dumb fucks to realize. It should have been obvious in 2008 when they started printing money that this is the end game. It's unbelievable that it took 15 years to get this far. But here we are. So pay attention to that. By the time you hear this, it probably already happened. So you'll probably already know the result. You'll probably already know. It's like, the CPI numbers, whatever. How about I do in the gold? How about if the CPI numbers are high and gold goes up today, it's the beginning again. That's all. That's my little prediction there. And I also want to talk a little bit more about Petr Yan. I remember yesterday I was watching that fight. A lot of people are saying online too, like he never threw any knees. Like he got taken down 48 times, or they tried to take him down 48 times, but he never like threw any knees or like uppercut or something, the Jorge Masvidal special there, and the Cowboy, remember Cowboy Cerrone, guys? Remember Cowboy Cerrone? Your UFC fans remember Cowboy Cerrone? He sucked at wrestling, so what he got really good at was called the check knee, right? So when some guy tries to go take you down, you just knee him in the face there, And that was basically his entire takedown defense plan, right? It didn't always work, but he threw a lot of those check knees, Cowboy Cerrone. Cowboy check knee Cerrone. And Petr Yan, he didn't throw any. And I feel like a couple of those knees there, just to make Merab Dvalishvili, make him guessing, he didn't do any of those. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Petr Yan, he should hang out with Donald Cerrone, learn how to do a check knee, maybe do some uppercuts. He's got that like Thai boxing style. Henry Cejudo was going on the Twitter there. He was talking about how that Thai boxing style where you just kind of put your hands, that high guard defense leaves you open to takedowns. So that was a big flaw in his fighting style and game plan. Anyway, I'm trying to get all these back to my personal life here. I'm trying to get all these I'm making this new little kids book. Trying to get it translated in all these different languages. And it's just like, because some of the languages don't have these fruits or vegetables, and they don't know what these names are. And then it's like, I'm learning a lot of things about different languages. Did you know that broccoli in Italian is plural? Like one broccoli is broccolo, and two broccoli is broccoli, right? And that's so no one says one broccolo because that's also slang for your dick. If you want to, She'd be like, if you meet a girl that's vegetarian and Italian, you'd be like, oh, you want some of this? You want some of my broccolo? And she's gonna be like, that's your penis. And like, no, it's filled with vitamin A. It's good for your, and vitamin C. It's healthy it's full of fiber. It's just my broccolo. I only got the one. I'm very poor, so I couldn't afford a whole broccoli. I can only get one broccolo. Anyway, so that's an interesting fact there. I'm guessing broccoli. I guess it's uncountable in English, but we're using the plural form. I'm guessing the word broccoli comes from Italian. I'm not positive, but I'm guessing the word origin is from the Italian, right? That's why we call it broccoli and not broccolo or broccoli. Lick my ass, Anyway, let's see what else there's there. Also, spinach in Romance languages like French, Italian, Spanish. Spinach is always plural. Right? Because you're not eating like one leaf of spinach, you're having many spinach, right? So it's always spinaci or something, It's always plural, in these Romance languages, even though in English we just say spinach, it's not countable, right? It's just like, yeah, hey, you want some spinach? In Italian, they say, hey, you want some spinaches? Because you don't want to eat just one. You want some spinaches, right? You don't just want one leaf of spinach, right? You want many spinaches, right? But even though they do pluralize spinach, they don't pluralize lettuce, or cabbage, which didn't really make any sense to me. It's like, well, how come you ask people if they want some spinaches, but you don't ask them if they want some cabbages or some lettuces? You just, oh God, fucking languages, yeah. So that's annoying there, And then, of course, if you've ever studied Spanish or Espanol, as I like to say, you know that there's different noun genders, right? You have masculine and feminine, right? El pollo and la chingadera, right? And of course, that's the same. It's the same in Italian, right? There's masculine and feminine, and of course in French as well. There's also masculine and feminine. Of course, in German, there's masculine, feminine, neutral, right? Then, of course, in these other Germanic languages, right? Norwegian, Swedish, Dutch, Danish, there's also masculine and feminine nouns. But in Norwegian and Swedish and Danish, they don't use it. They don't mark the gender of the noun with the, right? So like in Spanish, right? El, la, that means the, right? In German, der, die, das, those mean the, right? But in Danish, Norwegian, and Swedish, they mark the gender of a noun with the indefinite article a, not the, right? So when you put your words into the translator there, I'm putting my words in here, right? Like the apple, the orange, because I want to have it translate the noun gender there too, That worked perfectly fine for Spanish and German, and French and Italian, no problem, But then you put it in there for the Norwegian and Dutch, or not Dutch, Norwegian and Danish and Swedish there, and that's not how they mark their noun gender. They mark it with the indefinite article a, not the definite article the. Isn't that a fucking pain in the ass? Holy shit, man. This is fucking pain in the ass. Now I gotta go back to the translator, Don't put the broccoli, put a broccoli, and have it translate that so it puts the... Anyway, that's, I don't know if you guys are interested in learning Norwegian or Swedish or Danish, but that's a little insight. A little insight into those languages. It's a little insight into those languages. You know what else is like weird about like Swedish and is it Swedish? Is it Danish? One of these goddamn languages, If you put you're like apple, right? Is in front of the apple. But if you say the apple, it attaches as a suffix, right? So you say apple and then you say apple the. That's fucking annoying, man. Who thought of that? That's goddamn annoying. Then of course French there, they don't know how to count above 20 or something, Like if you say 84, they say 420's 4. That's kind of weird, or something. And I think in Dutch and Danish too, they have like they can't even say like 95 or something, right? They'll say like 90, half 10, or something. I can't remember exactly, but like you have to use like half numbers. Instead of saying 4, they say like half 8 or something. I don't know exactly, but it's a goddamn dumb system. That's why everybody has to speak English, all right? This is America, goddammit. You're a boy. What are you doing? You're coming to my school. You wanna. Oh, we got the ballots in 97 languages in America. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we spoke English here in America. Anyway, thanks for listening. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow.